my beauty as an excuse as to why he can't be where I'm at.
Javon, he trolling you, baby. He trolling you.
Yeah, she didn't catch it.
I'm telling you,
Wait.
50K.
Podcast.
Hold
Stop.
on. I can respond to that myself, Logic. I'm
So
cool.
that's why I say little in front of everyone.
Just really quickly.
What I'm saying, bro, is I brought up a serious point and you came out with
You did. I just want to respond to what she just said really quickly, Logic.
See, I hate
niggas.
Just calm down, Logic. It's okay. Tam was the one who made the point. You're working too. You just said you're going to retire in 10 years. So that means his 50K is still adding on to what you're already bringing in. How could it not be enough if what you're making right now is already enough for you? And you're going to have 10 more years of that.
That's a good point.
Oh, okay.
That's a good point. Welcome back to Money, Marriage, and Media. Today, we are back with the Lapeef Experience, She Critique. Men, get your money up. Modern women's standards are too high. Now, this is, let's hit the button. we go, you know what, this is, yeah.
Not lazy. He's a hard worker, and he's on his way to more. But when y'all meet, he's just at 47.
See, this is,
listen,
even JR think it's BS. You heard
Hold on. See, listen, Siobhan, Rojo went where I was about to go because I was about to say, this is the ironic thing about it, right? Let's go best case scenario. This is what you're telling men. I want you to understand this. As a man, I get out here and let's just go because you said under 50K. Let's just shoot the 50K. I would argue 47, but let's just go to 50. 50K. I'm a man. I don't have no kids. I don't have no woman. Only person I'm responsible for is me. I'm doing well in life. And you telling me that ain't enough. I'm doing for me. I don't have to have enough for you. I don't even know you. Why do I have to come to you with enough for you and I don't even know you? I'm doing me.
Because when you come into a relationship and you're trying to be with somebody, you got to come with something. And
I am coming with something. I'm coming with me and 50K. I'm taking care of me.
And I'm telling you that 50K is not enough. Okay.
Well, how much? Okay. So it depends on the mentality.
Enough for what?
You want to be a provider, right? That's what.
No, I don't.
Well, that's what we're looking for. You said no.
Like you and my hair.
It's for
podcast.
Are you saying 50K is not enough because you have a child?
You ain't coming to provide,
or would 50K be enough, or 47K be enough if you didn't have a child?
I'm saying that I get what you're saying. Yeah. So having a child, like 50K is just not enough. But I was literally on my own in a particular area, and 43,000 was difficult. It was hard. It was a lot. And I had to make sure that I was doing everything in my power to make sure that the money that I was making and that I was putting away wasn't being taken for granted. Like, it was a lot.
So I've covered this in the money playlist, right? And this conversation is missing a lot. First off, we're gonna go ahead and set this thing off right here, right? Because I live in the great state of Georgia, and I want y'all to see something right quick. We're gonna put this right in here. Yeah. Average income in the state of Georgia for women, $25,000. For men, it's 37. So when you see these panels, right, the biggest point that needs to be mentioned is location matters, right? What are most people making? Okay, because there's somebody's going to be in the comments saying that, you know, well, I live in Atlanta and 37 ain't nothing. I make more than that. Yeah, you do. But here's the problem, though. What we always forget to calculate is cost of living. So you live in Atlanta, yeah, you have to make more because the average there is about like 55. Well, guess what's interesting is when you start to break these things down is that the same person that's living, you know, an hour and a half outside of Atlanta, they're making 37. You guys have the same lifestyle because you live in Atlanta and the cost of living is higher. So guess what? It's the exact same. The question then becomes is that what you got to ask yourself is, are there more people living in Atlanta or inside the state of Georgia? See how these conversations have a lot of nuance that most people don't talk about. How is it that I know this stuff? I spent 5 years working in financial services. I have to be able to break this stuff down because all my clients don't live inside the major cities. You have clients from I had clients from different walks of life, and you have to be able to break this stuff down. So when that never comes up in the conversation, when we start talking about, and you get these women on these panels and they start telling you that that's not enough money. The other thing that never gets talked about is that when you have women that are telling you that, understand that women don't understand income like that. They don't understand numbers. But the most important thing that's not being considered is that how much debt do you have? Because women tend to carry more debt than men do, especially college educated women, because most of them have Sally Mae in their back pocket. So when you get women in Siobhan's case, she just said she was making 43 and she's barely making ends meet. Okay, what are the expenses that are coming along with that? You got a car note, you got student loans, you got credit card bills, you got all that stuff going on. Yeah, 43 ain't nothing. But most men are not carrying that stuff. Most men are not dealing with student loans to the same degree that women are, whether they have a degree or not. That's just the way it is. Most men have left the colleges because it's like, I'm just gonna go get a job and make money right now. Versus 4 years from now, I may be able to get a job after I ring up all this debt. It's just a different. That's the big thing about we have to start breaking down when we start throwing around income and stuff like this and people are using it as a disqualifier. These are the things that you need to take into account. But as a personal note, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, income does not determine whether or not you're doing good with your finances or not. We need to move the conversation away from income and start looking at net worth, because too many people, I'm telling you, too many people have these high incomes, but they still living paycheck to paycheck, which means you're broke because of situations like I just mentioned with Siobhan, where you living in the downtown high rise because you think you need to be there because you making, $60,000 a year. No, you need to live below your means, which means that you may have to live outside of the city to where the cost of living is lower. The problem is that by the time you do all that traveling back and forth to work, because higher paying jobs usually tend to be in areas where the cost of living is higher. By the time you finish commuting every day, it's really just, you done whittle down the difference in income. But I'm getting off topic here. As you can tell, I'm passionate about these money talks, right? Especially, it's just the basic stuff, but let's keep going.
Was you
my question.
okay,
You're saying you got a kid though, right? And you're saying 50K is not enough for you for him to take. Okay, but you're still working, right?
Right.
I'm still working, but guess what? I'm retiring. I'm retiring in 10 years. How many of us can really retire in 10 years?
No.
Siobhan, how old are you again, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 29 years old and I'm retiring at 40. At 40.
Hey, Siobhan, you need to catch up. I retired at 38.
Okay.
That's not normal. Most people who are talking about retiring by 40, let's just say I've met a lot of people who say that, and it sounds good until we start talking about the actual numbers, the actual dollar amount that you need to have saved up in order to meet that goal. And most people they're not willing to. They're not even close. I mean, you're not going to get there making $43,000 a year. I can tell you that now. Even if you're not going to get there making 60, you're not, because if you were making 60, that means you'd have to. The amount of money that you would have to save up and invest in order to do that is okay. We're not even gonna get there. Let's just keep going.
Okay, 2 years.
This is the point I want to make, though, right? See, look, this is, and I don't want to take this political, though, but you know that under the Trump administration, under his education bill, you'll be paid at least $26,000 a year to homeschool your child.
Yes, I do know that.
So why y'all didn't vote for him?
There's a lot of reason why I didn't vote for him, and I'm
racist.
actually appalled that you voted for him because I know that you're a heavy Trump supporter.
No,
But
no, wait, don't insult me. I'm not a supporter. No, I'm gonna correct you. I'm not a supporter of nobody. I'm a supporter of policy. And when you add up the policies, and I just gave you one off the top of the dome.
I get that. And there are a lot of things that come into play when it comes to the administration under him. Yes, I do get that. And I can only respect that. I just don't agree with the other things that he deals with. And it's not cool.
Let me divert real quick. Let's just be honest, Siobhan.
I got a question. Oh, I got a question.
Can I say this real quick, please, Chantel? I just need to get it off.
Okay.
Siobhan, 50K ain't enough because she thinks she cute. Let's just be honest. That's what that boils down to. She thinks she's cute, so 50K ain't enough. That's all that is. She looked like a couple of the girls that be in music videos, so she thinks she's supposed to get, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Hey, but this is why guys are dating less attractive women, though.
Very aerodynamic nose.
What I was trying to tell her
therefore she can't settle for nobody with 50K.
But hold on.
I was trying to show her how to turn that man 50K into 80K.
Right.
But hold on, Logic. Also, he wants to
put that work in to help.
Yeah,
What?
but he also wants to talk
put that work in to help that man get to that 80K.
Yeah, but he also wants to talk about my beauty. But at the end of the day, like it's more so of a stigma of him just trying to like use my beauty as an excuse as to why he can't be where I'm at.
Siobhan, he trolling you, baby. He trolling you.
Yeah, she didn't catch it.
I'm telling you,
Wait. Podcast.
Hold on. I can respond to that myself, Logic. I'm cool.
That's why I say little in front of everything.
Wait.
Just really quickly.
What I'm saying, bro, is I brought up a serious point and you came out.
You did. And I just want to respond to what she just said really quickly, Logic.
See, I hate
it. Just calm down, Logic. It's okay. Tam was the one who made the point. You're working too. You just said you're going to retire in 10 years. So that means his 50K is still adding on to what you're already bringing in. How could it not be enough if what you're making right now is already enough for you? And you're going to have 10 more years of that.
That's a good point.
Oh, okay.
That's a good point.
Not when he's in the trolling.
Especially if you get a guy your age. That's pretty good for a guy your age. If he's like a little bit older than you, that's a really good salary for somebody your age.
See, the thing is that nobody knows my day to day.
Her age.
Nobody knows. Like I can sit here and say whatever I want to say. I can say I talked to somebody. Okay, I could be talking to somebody, could not be talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And nobody really truly knows. So it could just be me. How y'all looking at me and then just say like, yeah, he's doing this. What is he doing? Do you know who he is?
Well, that's why.
I
think we're all speaking hypothetically, but
hey, look, man, we just haven't.
I said I had a
I
question.
hate when niggas try to get in somebody else's draws, man. Get out her draws. You know what I'm saying? We got a conversation.
Fuck out of here.
Who's trying to get in her draws?
I'm just saying that you never heard the term what niggas say, get out my draws. You know what I'm saying? Quit asking what I'm doing in my personal life. Like I'm saying, you can have a conversation without getting in people's draws. That's what I'm saying.
Nobody said
because you let off the hook because I was trying to show her by like through her emotions, she might have missed out on something good. Because I can show you, I can add up.
Oh, you're talking to podcast. Okay.
I can add up to where you and that man can make 100K by leveraging benefits and not like welfare, none of that stuff. What I'm saying that it was an opportunity to get 26K a year. Then now you get your year-round child tax credits, and then you get all this stuff. And it appalled me that black people let that shit slide. And then you out of emotions and what you get in return, you can't even get your goddamn student loans repaid. You know what I'm saying? You ain't get shit in return because we so fucking emotional. Like when I saw that, I was like, how can black people not accept that? We say we don't like our school not getting, our kids is not being taught or stuff like that. And then I thought that was the first step in rebuilding our our houses.
Okay. This is all over the place. It's kind of crazy. But we did make some good points. And we are experiencing the gender war, right? Because men need to make all this money. Look, here's the reality. There are only so many resources out there. So when they were talking about, I think it was Tan that mentioned, you can help him turn that into 80K. That's not realistic. Okay. There are only so many resources out here. Where most people fall was right where I showed y'all. This is what happens when you break down incomes by state instead of just going off the national figure. See, in the state of Georgia, 37,000 is the average income. For women, it's 25. So most states look like this, plus or minus maybe like about $2,000. But yeah, this is where most people are at. So when we sit here and say, well, 50 is not enough, most people ain't making 50. And they're not going to, because remember, average income, but most men don't reach their peak earning potential until after 40. So, you in your mid to late 20s and you expecting this guy who's also in his mid to late 20s to come in and make $50,000 a year. No, most people who are making that are older. So you got it. What's really going on here is that this is more proof that the vetting process is broken. See, a lot of times younger women in, early 20s, they list numbers like that because it disqualifies a lot of men, and they know this subconsciously, right? They're using it as a way of vetting and saying that, well, he can provide, so I'm gonna go with him. And they realize that most men can't do that. But see, this is why I say this is a result of the vetting process being broken, because women are bad at picking spouses. That's why the divorce rate is what it is, right? So one of the things that we can do to mitigate this and get more realistic with our standards is that we need to improve the vetting process. How do we do that? Well, for starters, we start by using the tools that are already readily available to us. Most women have a male family member that they actually trust. Now, you might only have one, and he may be in a different state. I don't know what to tell you to do. Then you got to, set up a Zoom call or whatever, right? FaceTime, whatever you got to do. But the point is that most families have a male family member or most women have a male family member that they actually trust and respect. That's who should be vetting potential husbands for you. You cannot trust yourself to do it because most women make bad decisions like that. Again, this is why the divorce rate is so high. You have women out here picking men, and we know they're bad at it. So then they go down the road and get married. And then 5 years down the road, I'm not happy. I'm leaving. We need to get divorced because this just don't work anymore. It's too hard. Even though relationships are supposed to be, they're not easy. So this is just a result of the vetting process being broken. Because see, most women would be willing to work with a man if they knew there was going to be an upside. And again, the elder, the patriarch of the family, men are great at actually weeding out bad choices. The problem is that you have to be able to, you got to follow through with it, ladies. And on the same token, the men have a similar standard. It's not with income, but it's with other things, right? For men, the vetting process can be picked by actually introducing the potential wives to your mom, because your mom is not going to care how fine she is, how good her sex game is. But she's going to pick up if she's a wife, she's going to pick up, okay, what kind of wife skills does this woman have? Because you shouldn't have to train her to be a wife. You should have to train her to be your wife, but not a wife. That doesn't, no. So you got to have, that's why I said the vetting process is broken, but one of the ways we can start to fix it is actually using the tools that we already have available. But to recap, go and Google what the average income for your state is. Stop trying to go off these numbers that these people on these podcasts talking about. And it's like I said, I worked in financial services for 5 years. Most people ain't making $50,000 a year. They're just not. I showed you what the average income for my state. You can do a bunch of states. Most states, it's not over 40 for men. And even if it is, that's usually because there's some major city in that area. But even then, it doesn't affect it that much. Most people are average. I'm going to say goes to the next time. Peace.